Many children speak in different languages at school, at home, and with their friends. This video series aims to help educators understand how different languages shape our understanding of a place, a group of people, and the individual child. How formal and everyday use of different languages shape children's confidence to express themselves. How the way we teach shapes children's language skills and spontaneous use of different languages. How a whole school must work together when a child's natural language of comfort is different from the school language. This is a self-learning video series. It is organized into 4 modules. Each module is made up of 4 units, covering specific themes related to multilingualism. This is the first module in our series. We will be covering interesting themes such as diversity in language and identities associated with language. In our everyday world, some of the languages we use are often thought of as more prestigious. Some languages become dominant, while others are marginalized. In multilingual environments, children could code switch. They do this by mixing 2 languages into one sentence or saying the first sentence in one language and the next in another. As you work through this module, please reflect on the patterns by which children transfer words from one language to another. Language learning rarely happens in unconnected parallel pathways. Traces of one language are often found in the other languages being learned. Children borrow from the language they are fluent in. Borrowing is possible because language systems are interconnected. If the shared features between languages have the same role in both languages, then that helps the child learn the new language faster. This is positive transfer. If the shared features do not have the same meaning or function in both languages, then that is very confusing and will slow down language learning. This is one example of negative transfer.
The language that multilingual children use in school may have traces of other languages in them, since children learn multiple languages together and languages have a way of interacting with each other.
I agree. Often the influence of the mother tongue comes through very strongly in the pronunciation of words in a new language. That's an example of language transfer at the level of sound. A child may pronounce the word bridge as breege or breeze or breege, depending on the pronunciations and sounds he is already familiar with.
Yes, and then there is language transfer at the level of sentence construction, where the word order of the fluent language is carried forward into the new language being learnt. For example, a verb comes at the end of a sentence in Hindi, but towards the beginning of a sentence in English.
Language transfer shows us the deep connections present between the different languages known to a multilingual child. For example, when 2 languages share a common basic vocabulary, like Hindi and Marathi, then the learning becomes easier. However, when 2 languages are unrelated, like Hindi and Tamil, or Hindi and Santali, then learning a new language becomes difficult.
And have you noticed how sounds that are frequent in one language often slip in when pronouncing words from another language?
माथो, हेडो, चामड़ो, स्किनो, मुंडो, फेसो.
Sometimes the reverse happens. Sounds that are not used in our familiar languages become harder to hear and say when we hear them in a new language. For example, if a child is unfamiliar with the sound sh, then he or she will transfer the sound closest to sh, which is sir. Tell our visitor your name.
Preeti.
Pretty.
Languages which belong to the same language family share words. The child can then understand the meaning of a word even when it appears in a new language, because he or she can recognize it as a word from an already known home language. For example, the word naam appears across many languages in India.
Languages may also be close in the way in which the sentences are constructed. Some languages, for example, always place the verb at the end of the sentence. Like in Hindi we say, हम बाजार जा रहे हैं.
हम बाजार जा रहे हैं আমরা বাজারে যাচ্ছি
But other languages may place the verb in the middle. The changes in sentence construction across different languages are often missed. So, when children speak in a new language, they may often use the word order of their familiar language to construct sentences in the new language. Like, हम बाजार जा रहे हैं often becomes we bazaar going instead of we are going to the bazaar.
Yes, language transfer can also slow down new language learning if the sounds and sentence constructions of the new language are completely different from the languages children are familiar with.
So, language transfer can be helpful for language learning only if there are commonalities between the languages that the children already know and the new language that they are learning.